Hey there! So today I'm going to take you on a journey through my second garden. I mentioned in the last video that I take care of two gardens, one at my home and one at a 150-acre dairy farm. It's called the Chef's Garden, and it supplies our amazing restaurant. So come along with me. This is the amazing entrance into the Chef's Garden. It is a willow arch trellis that is flanked on both sides with a perennial flower garden. We have hollyhocks and cosmos, yarrow, these beautiful urns full of petunias and Lismachia trailing. This is where anything that's a perennial flower, this is where we put it. And it just creates this cottage garden entrance that is simply magical. You may notice the terracotta pots on these stakes. That was a inspiration I had when I went to England and visited their cottage gardens. They had them like this, and I guess as the story goes, gardeners used to put them on stakes so they wouldn't bump their heads as they bent over. Now, of course, it's just become a quaint ode to English cottage gardens. But these stakes are for our dahlias that will be growing up on them. You can see down there, they're still quite small for June, surprisingly. But I think some of them throughout are doing a little bit better. This one here, just a little bit more time is all. We're still in the early parts of July, so there's plenty of time. But that's the edge of the entry to the Chef's Garden. We have a volunteer sunflower there that has almost, well, it has hit the top of this willow trellis. I'll need to put him out on the outside so he can get even bigger. It's so beautiful. That was a self-sown. But as we walk through the trellis area, these are cattle panels, 4 by 16 foot cattle panels, many of them to create this dramatic entrance. And we have right now beans that are making their way over the top. And as the summer goes on, there will be small melons, as well as loofah and Malabar spinach, and a variety of other small squash and melon plants that will cover the trellis eventually. Coming upon one of my favorite elements in the garden is our beautiful Flo. I've nicknamed her Flo because she looks like she's from Florence, and she just really is the iconic fixture of this entire garden. Absolutely love her. Again, more sunflowers that self-sowed. And then I'll take you straight through the back side of the second trellis. Again, more beans, melons, squash. And then it comes out onto a gravel patio area that is backed by our incredible kitchen garden raised beds. In these beds, I primarily focus on salad bowl type vegetables. So we have cucumber, chard, parsley, lettuces, cherry tomatoes, as well as some squash trailing over the edges. Lots of herbs in here. I'll give you a view from the back. This is going back into and up into the garden. But again, over here, we have a similar planting on each side, this being the center of the garden. So as we make our way back through the trellis and head in this direction, we have borage and celery doing lovely. Coming back up onto that perennial edge from a different viewpoint. Lemon balm that has gone to flower but is so beautiful and a great pollinator. On this side, calendula, again, edible flower, medicinal as well. And then down here amongst some weeds, we have beets and broccoli, trying to make it through the heat of our summer. Not doing the best. Going on this side, we have dill. And as you can see in the background, a beautiful mass planting of Verbena bonariensis, which is a great pollinator and just spectacular when planted in mass. And you can see on the other side, just before the teepee, we have it over there as well, flanking this patio dining area. Going over here, we have Brussels sprouts. Borage, again, a great pollinator. This one has really reached its time frame. I'll cut it back and it will probably grow back a little bit, but it'll self-seed for next year. We have radish newly planted here, as well as squash growing up this small fence panel trellis, doing really well. Again, coming back up towards the perennial edge, making our way down another row of kale and zucchini rampicante. In the background, we have celeriac, which is such an amazing root vegetable. I love to have it pureed. That is starting to bulb, but won't come to its full potential for another month or so. Beets, these are the golden beets. Self-sown sunflower here. And then here we have our raspberry trellis area that has really gone crazy. And then here is, I'll back up a little bit so you can see it, is what I call the mini teepee garden that we have planted beans, and they've almost made it up to the top of the bamboo poles there, as well as self-sown sunflowers. Over here we have some dino lettuce from row 7 and some squash in the front. And then this bed is our asparagus bed that we have now let go to seed. We harvest asparagus until the summer solstice, which is around June 20th. And then after that, we let it go to seed so that it can replenish the asparagus rhizomes, tubers in the ground. And so it will look like this for the remainder of the season, and then in the fall we will cut it back once it turns brown. But it's just really beautiful and feathery. I really enjoy having it in the garden. These little yellow pods will drop, and those will be seeds for future asparagus. Finishing out this row and coming down the very last row is our strawberry garden. and it's gotten crazy. We just planted all of these strawberries this year, and you could see them so well, these stepping stones so well, but now the strawberries have completely taken over. I'll give you another view of this here. These must be ever-bearing strawberries because they are still going strong. You can see here. So we'll be harvesting those very shortly. Okay, so here we are finishing out this part of the garden. We have Jimmy Nardello peppers, parsley that was just harvested today. So we have some of the remainder of the brown parts, but took that up to the kitchen. The chef is going to be making a chimichurri sauce with the fresh parsley and cilantro. Here is another view of this bean teepee trellised area and self-sown sunflowers. Truly spectacular. I interspersed tomatoes in here as well, but they are probably going to get completely overtaken by everything in this bed with these beans and sunflowers. I mean, just look at this. The bean teepees are probably about 12 feet tall, maybe 14 feet tall. The sunflowers are almost to the top of them as well. And I'm going to take you around to the back side of that. And what we did this year is put a cattle panel trellis and let the beans grow up to create this wall of beans and squash. You can see this is the back side of the kitchen garden raised beds with the trailing squash, beautiful grasses, looking up to the restaurant and barns for our beautiful dairy cows. So again, giving you an opposite view of where we were coming into the garden. The garden is separated in quadrants. So this is coming in on the end of one of the quadrants heading back towards Flow, and our cattle panel trellises. You can see it from this angle. Again, a beautiful branching sunflower that was a volunteer, thanks to some of our birdies and their beautiful droppings. Over here we have broccoli and some lettuce that is starting to go to seed, but we're still harvesting on the middle parts, and it's really lovely still. Some nasturtium and marigolds. More lettuce on this side. Here we have Swiss chard and peppers. And coming back up towards the restaurant and barns and the other side of the perennial garden. And I'll just turn right around and go back down here where we have eggplant. We just newly harvested some of the bok choy that was flanking on both sides of this bed. Over here, zinnias, marigolds, some of the verbena bonariensis that self-sowed itself, some cherry tomatoes that self-sowed as well. And then we have leeks that we'll be finishing up soon. Lavender, this beautiful lavender plant, huge. We cut it back in the spring and it came back with a vengeance. Just beautiful. Pollinators are loving it, and we use it also in our lavender lemonade here, which is a crowd favorite. Horseradish, along with the verbena bonariensis close up. And then going line back up this cattle panel trellis with cucamelons. All this vining, well, there's a little cherry tomato, but all these little fine vines are cucamelons, which are a cross between a cucumber and it looks like a little watermelon. Great for the kids' garden. So fun to grow, so fun to eat. Nasturtium, zinnia, our bush beans, flanked on each side by our peppers. Incorporating flowers everywhere to attract the pollinators, as well as just the diversity of the garden. The more diverse, the more beneficial insects, the less pest pressure that you'll have. Coming down this row, I just recently pruned these tomatoes, and as you can see, when you trellis tomatoes versus going into tomato cages, you do a hard prune on the lower parts of the tomato, and you then will tie it up to the trellis as it grows up, and then all the energy goes up into the plant and into the fruit without a lot of interference. Also great for airflow. Harvested beets here in the front that we've recently taken up to the kitchen. Nasturtium, more Verbena bonariensis here at the end of this row. More blue borage, which the flower is edible. Great pollinator, as I mentioned before, and makes incredible tea. Here we have the Delfino cilantro from row 7. Row 7 is a seed company that really grows for chefs, and our chef loves this Delfino cilantro. It's a little bit slower to bolt, and it's obviously finer, more feathery, and this is one of the other elements to his chimichurri sauce with the flat parsley that I mentioned before. Here we have the beautiful bamboo teepee that's new this year. So proud of it. It's just lovely, flanked by teddy bear sunflowers, and in the spring we had peas growing up, but now we have moonflower, which will soon cover this entire teepee, which stands about 20 feet tall. The kids just absolutely love going inside here, and once it's completely covered, it's going to be quite magical inside. I was inspired to do this year because of a trip that I took to Cape Town, South Africa, where at the Babelastoren vineyards, they had a teepee in their vegetable garden, and I fell in love, and so I have recreated it here on our farm. Here another row flanking the edges of this bed. We had garlic in here, we recently harvested that, and now we just planted turnips on both rows. And taking it back this way. Oh, I'm going to take you actually on this side because we have these beautiful multicolored cabbages growing. And these are the conical shaped cabbages. So not your typical round cabbage, but in the purple and the greenish blue coloring. It's just beautiful color combination together. Yarrow and cosmos. On the other side, we have lettuce that, even though, like I mentioned before, it looks like it's going to flower, it still is harvestable on those center leaves and very good, not bitter. On this last row, which is in the front of the garden, if you pull into our driveway for the restaurant, we have the dinosaur kale with the basil in front. Great for making pesto, of course, or basil, mozzarella, tomato, caprese, so many good things. And the identical bed here on this side leads, of course, to the beautiful bamboo teepee. And it circles around to facing the back side and this quadrant view from the parking lot, with the fields where our cows are normally roaming free out into the pastures. So there you have it. It's July 7th, and this is what the farm garden looks like.